Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Libromancer deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck's actually suggested by one of my patrons, Luke. And this deck is an extremely interesting deck that I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Luke some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing a single copy of Doombroker. Doombroker is one of our main boss monsters of the deck, and this card is actually insane. This card is healed. You can ritual summon this card with a Libromancer card, and this card is ritual summoned by using monsters on the field can actually attack directly, which is a crazy powerful effect on this 2500 attack point monster. This card also is healed during the main phase. You can set a Libromancer trap directly from the deck, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one face-up monster that your opponent controls and shuffle it into the deck, which is a crazy powerful effect when you actually use this effect to be able to attack directly. We then play a single copy of Fireburst. Fireburst is really good as a one-of boss monster in this deck, and this card is a really cool effect that you can ritual summon this card with a Libromancer card, and if this card that was ritual summoned using a monster on the field cannot be destroyed by battle, also any battle damage inflicted to your opponent is doubled, which is a crazy powerful effect if you do use a monster on the field. This card also has the ability this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, and when a monster declares an attack, you can banish one Libromancer ritual monster in your graveyard, and this card gains 200 attack points, but usually you're just going to use it to do double damage and also be able to attack twice. We then play a single copy of Benton. Benton is really good as a one-of in the build because this card helps us search out other light fairy monsters directly from our deck to our hand when this card is tributed, which is a really cool effect to be able to use, especially with the other spicy tech cards I've got in this build. We then play 3 copies of Geek Boy. Geek Boy is definitely a 3-of in the build, as you can reveal a ritual monster in your hand and then special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is special summoned, you can actually add a Libromancer spell from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to instantly get to your copy of Origin Story. So we can get to our field spell, so we can actually start ritual summoning. We then play 3 copies of Fire. Fire is really good as a 3-of in the build, as this card is a similar effect to your copy of Geek Boy that you can reveal this card, or you can reveal a ritual monster in your hand to special summon this card from the hand, and if this card is special summoned, you can actually add a Libromancer monster from your deck to your hand except with a copy of Fire, which is a great ability to instantly add anything that you need from your deck to your hand, like your copy of Doombroker, Geek Boy, or even a copy of Agent. Agent is really good as a one-of in the build because this card is actually a level 6 monster, which comes in extremely handy in this deck. And this card is the ability to reveal a ritual monster in your hand to special summon this card in the hand, and then you can target a Libromancer card in your graveyard, except a copy of Agent, and add it to your hand. Then if you added a spell or trap card by this effect, you get to place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is a really interesting effect to actually recover your spells and traps. We then play 3 copies of Diviner. Diviner is the best normal summon in the entire build, because this card can send a card like Herald of the Arclight from the extract to the graveyard, so we can search out a ritual monster directly from our deck to our hand, like a copy of Pinson or Doombroker, or even our copy of our big boss monsters. We then play a single copy of Maximus. Maximus is great as a one-of in the build, and the Dogmatica engine is just so powerful in this deck. It helps us step into cards like Window, so we can control the board so both players can only special summon once per turn. You can use this card to be able to send cards like Elder Emptiness to the graveyard to pop cards on the field. It does lock you out of the extract, but it's great to help you basically just get rid of 2 cards out of your opponent's extract, and it's the only Dogmatica card we play in the deck besides Nadir to be able to search this card from our deck to our hand. We then play a single copy of Arc Lord Christia. Arclord Christia is an extremely spicy one-of in the build, and a really cool card to actually play in this deck alongside our copy of Benton, is this card is able to give you exactly 4 fairy-type monsters in your graveyard. You can special summon this card from your hand, and if it's summoned this way, you get to target a fairy monster in the graveyard and add that target to your hand, and neither player can special summon monsters, and if this face-up card would be sent from the field to the graveyard, place it on top of the deck instead. This card is searchable off your copy of Benton, which is awesome for this deck to be able to do. It's very easy to get 4 fairies into the graveyard in this deck. You have cards like Diviner, that's a fairy monster, which you can also send Herald of Arclight, which is another fairy, and your copy of Maximus can easily get fairies in the graveyard to be able to summon out your copy of Christia to basically just lock down your opponent once we've established a board. So this card is insane in the deck as a one-of. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3-of in the deck to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is great in the build as a 3-of to basically use it as an E-Telly target or pop cards on the field, because you do play E-Telly in the deck because Geek Boy is actually a psychic as well, so you can easily summon out either of these to your side of the field off your copy of E-Telly. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with 2 copies of Libromancer First Appearance. First Appearance is really good in the deck, but I feel like 2 copies is really all you need in this build, as we can easily get to this card with our copy of Origin Story. This card is really good in the build because when this card is activated, you get to add a Libromancer monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards that you control. And also during your main phase, you can actually ritual summon a Libromancer ritual monster from your hand by treating monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the monster you're trying to ritual summon, which is a great effect to help you summon out your copy of Doombroker or your other big boss monster, which is so cool to be able to use, and I love that about this card. But again, I feel like 2 copies is really all you need because of Origin Story. We then play 3 copies of Origin Story. Origin Story is definitely a 3-of in the build, and this card is awesome because when this card is activated, you get to set a Libromancer spell or trap directly from your deck, except another copy of this card, which we're always setting our copy of First Appearance if we don't have it. But this card has a really cool effect that also this card has the absolutely broken ability that Libra ritual monsters that you control gain attack equal to their own level times 100, and if a ritual monster is ritual summoned to your field, you can target a spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a great effect to help you pop spells and traps on the field, make your Libromancers absolutely massive, and help you get to your copy of First Appearance so you can actually ritual summon them out. So this card is definitely a 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of E-Telly. E-Telly is great because you can either summon out your copy of Ghost Ogre to your side of the field, or you can summon Geek Boy, which is awesome for this card to be able to do to instantly bring out a monster to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. Preparation of Rites is basically Rhoda for the deck because this card instantly grabs our copy of Doombroker or a copy of Benton directly from our deck to our hand, so this card is definitely a 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Nadir. Nadir is really good in this deck to be able to play a Dogmatica engine because you really don't need the X-Deck all that much in this deck. So this card is really good at helping you send a copy of Garua to the graveyard so you can search out your copy of Maximus, and then once you do, you'll also get to draw a card off the Garua effect, and then you can use your copy of Maximus to easily summon that out to your side of the field by just banishing the Garua from the graveyard. So it's very easy to be able to establish an insane board using your copy of Nadir, which is so cool. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Libromancer Intervention. This card is really good as a 1-of in the build, and this card is actually searchable off the effect of your copy of Doombroker, which is why we just play a single copy in the build. This card is the ability when your opponent activates a card effect, target one Libromancer ritual monster you control, return it back to the hand, and if you negate that activated effect, then you can special summon a Libromancer from the hand or the graveyard, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to use, and I love that about this card. It's so easy to get to, and it basically turns your copy of Doombroker into a negate. We then play a single copy of Displaced. Displaced is really good as a 1-of in the build as well, and I really like this card in the deck because it lets you target a Libromancer monster you control and a monster that your opponent controls and return your monster back to the hand, and if you do, take control of that opponent's monster. And if your Libromancer monster you targeted was not a ritual monster, the monster that you took control of returns back to the hand during the end phase, but it's basically an insane change of heart trap card that we can easily use. And the reason I like playing this card in the deck is just in case we have our copy of Christia already established, this card is insane to just take control of whatever monster your opponent normal summons, which is so cool. We then play a single copy of Shadow Schism. Shadow Schism is really good as a 1-of in build to help us go in for a copy of Winda, and it's just a really powerful 1-of in the deck to be able to help us step into our copy of Winda. It is searchable off of Apocalypse, which is why we just play a single copy in the deck. We finally played 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Winda. Winda is so easy to summon in this deck off your copy of Maximus. By being able to actually send Apocalypse to the graveyard, you can search out Shadow Schism off the Apocalypse effect so that you can basically summon out your copy of Winda using Schism. But this card is awesome in the deck because it basically makes it so each player can only special summon once per turn, which is crazy powerful to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Apocalypse. Apocalypse is really good as a 1-of in the deck because if this card does touch the graveyard, you can actually add a shadow card from your deck or graveyard to your hand and then discard a card, which is a great ability to instantly get to our copy of Schism, so we can set it to our side of the field and then banish our copy of Apocalypse plus a dark monster from the graveyard with the effect of Schism, so we can summon out our Winda. And play a single copy of Elder Entity Nist. Elder Entity Nist is basically a target for our copy of Maximus, so we can pop a card on the field, which is so cool to be able to do. And play a single copy of Garua. Garua is awesome to be able to send to the graveyard off your copy of Nadir, so we can get a draw while also searching out our copy of Maximus. We then play 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight. Herald of Arclight is really good to be able to send to the graveyard, which is really awesome to be able to send off your copy of Diviner or your copy of Maximus, so we can search out a ritual monster directly from our deck to our hand. We don't play any ritual spells because we actually ritual summon off of our field spell, which is actually a really interesting way to play a deck, but it's really awesome. We can use this card to be able to search out one of our ritual monsters, plus it's a fairy monster to count towards Christia. We then play a single copy of Ultimaya Tzolk'in. Tzolk'in's really good because we play a lot of level 6s in the deck, and our copy of Diviner will actually become a level 6 when we send our copy of Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard, so we can easily step into a copy of Tzolk'in, set a spell or trap to our side of the field, and then summon out a Crystal Wing to our side of the field, which is great to establish to basically play around Nibiru. You can also use this card to be able to use it to basically stop your opponent's monster effects, which is awesome. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's just a really good option overall to be able to balance cards off the field and be a skill drain for 3,000 or higher attack point monsters, which is awesome for this card to be able to do. We play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is really good as a 1-of in the deck to basically just use this card to out towers like boss monsters. Play a single copy of Dynamundo. Dynamundo is awesome in basically any ritual deck, and this card is really good in the build. This card is actually special summon. You can target 1 card on the field and a ritual monster in the graveyard and shuffle both into the deck, and during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card and then target a ritual monster in your grave and either add it to your hand or special summon it, which is a really powerful effect. And lay a single copy of the Light Charmer. Light Charmer is really easy to summon in this build, and just an awesome option in this deck to be able to summon to your side of the field, just in case you need it. We then play a single copy of SP. SP is really good in the deck as a 1-up to basically use this card as a double interruption. We then play a single copy of IP. IP is awesome to be able to go into your copy of SP or Underworld Goddess during the opponent's turn. And then finally, we play a single copy of Lingeribo. Lingeribo is really good so we can play around trap cards like Imminent Impermanence, which is really good for this card to be able to do. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Libromancer deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, especially with all these spicy tech cards I've included in here. There's some really cool engines in this deck that can easily shut down the opponent, and I love how powerful Doom Broker is to basically just control the board. So, that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.